Hey, what's up guys, it's oNightPineberries. My hair is wet because it's still raining outside. And welcome to another vlog of Dungeon Defenders 2. This is going to be literally all about the Dungeon Defenders 2. Something's in my eye. This is going to be about Dungeon Defenders 2, the live from ComicCon video with Phil and Brad Logston, I believe. So, Philip Asher and Brad Logston. I apologize if I butchered your names. So, Brad is the director, and Philip is Brad is the producer, and Philip is the marketing director for Dungeon Defenders 2 at Trendy, and they pretty much sat down and played a little bit of Dungeon Defenders 2, the New York ComicCon build, as I'm calling it, and I'm pushing my mic away, I apologize. Essentially, I watched the video for the first time today, just now, and I took a bunch of notes, and I'm going to be talking about what my thoughts and opinions are. But first off, I'm going to say the person who was with both Brad, Phil, Ice, and Daniel were also there. I think they chose a very poor person to talk about Dungeon Defenders. Not the host, but the Twitch, the guy in the Twitch shirt, if you guys watched it. And of course, if you have not seen the video yet, the links will be in the description below. Essentially what had happened was, what the Trendy team was, they were making a MOBA game and they didn't really want to make it. However, of course, we the players, we didn't want to play another MOBA game either. Of course, the idea of Dungeon Defenders becoming a MOBA, like that whole aspect, is really badass. Like, I'm still standing by my point. Sure, it's a stupid idea, or it's a stupid game. It would become a stupid game, but the idea itself is awesome. Like, because just the thought of our favorite heroes, the Squire, the Huntress, the Countess, the Monk, the Jester, the Series EV, Summoner, blah blah blah, all those characters in a battle arena style, we just murdering each other. I think the idea is really cool, but however, in the world of MOBAs, like League of Legends, Dota, and those kind of games, it's just Dungeon Defenders no one would actually play it. I think, in my personal point of view, not many people would play it. I would say less than 100 people, if there's like 10,000 people who were playing Dungeon Defenders 2 at the time. But I think the MOBA aspect of the game was a very bad idea for Dungeon Defenders, because it is a tower defense game that we know and love. And as we know, the Dungeon Defenders original, the PvP modes it's very bad. So it's not that great. So anyways, back to the video. The first half of the video, Philip and Brad talk about how they started Dungeon Defenders 2 started as a MOBA, but they scrapped the entire idea and just restarted as a pure Dungeon Defenders 2 or Dungeon Defenders sequel. And right now, they just started working on the game itself about a few months ago. So they are currently working on the core concepts of the game, meaning they're working on the characters, the synergies with the characters, tower upgradability, what happens when you upgrade the towers, maps. They're just overall working on the core part of the game. They're not worried about how many characters there will be, or what kind of map styles. They're just currently working on that core concept that we want, which is the tower defense part. And as you see in the New York ComicCon video, they essentially are playing an awesome version of Dungeon Defenders. My first impressions of the video just itself, as the gameplay, A, looks amazing, B, looks just fantastic, and C, I just want to play it. Like, I just want to play it. And again, I mentioned earlier in the video that the guy that was with Philip and Brad, I can say he played Dungeon Defenders, but he did not play for a very long time, or he's just a guy who plays Dungeon Defenders, but he's not really in depth. Like how I'm very in depth in the game. I know a lot about it, but I'm not there yet. And of course, there's other players who are actually there and they play it more and more. I just think he was a poor person to be there, because his questions were revolving around what Dungeon Defenders was when it first came out. He called the Squire the Knight, and it hurt me inside that like we as true fans, like deep hardcore fans, and we are represented by this one person, and that person literally failed us in the questions. And I think I could have given more questions, more like commentary, and I could have just overall, I'm not saying, well, I am saying me, but a lot of you guys who actually play Dungeon Defenders at least more than 400, 500 hours, you guys know what Dungeon Defenders, like the core game, what we want in Dungeon Defenders 2. But this guy was just, I think he wasn't pulling things out of his ass, but he played Dungeon Defenders a long time ago, and I think he played it recently, but you know, there's the gap. He's not really a core player, or he's a true hardcore fan like we are, so I just feel like he was a bad representation of the fans, my point of view. So back to Dungeon Defenders 2, in the beginning, they talked about how Dungeon Defenders 2 will be free to play. It's still a free to play game, which is super badass. They also mentioned how that might be a way to stop the, it might be a way to stop the hacking of Dungeon Defenders 2. I personally think that would encourage more hacking. Free to play, I think piracy was a big issue for Dungeon Defenders, but hacking is a bigger issue because of the mana duping, item just hacking, and overall just the complete douchebags that ruined, you know, the overall play for others. I just think making it free to play might encourage hacking even further. So I think, in my personal point of view, Dungeon Defenders 2 might be filled with more hackers, but the free-to-play just game in general is fantastic. As you see, nowadays MMOs, more and more MMOs are becoming free-to-play that used to be pay-to-play are now becoming free-to-play, and their success is literally, it is, you know, tenfold. It is much better than their actual opening of the game when it was pay-to-play. So free-to-play, I think, is a great direction to go through. However, I wouldn't have cared if Dungeon Defenders was $50. I honestly wouldn't. So Dungeon Defenders 2, the game itself is free. Just like how we had DLC, it's like $2 for skins. I think they're gonna approach it in that direction as well. They didn't really mention anything about it, but it's probably gonna be like, I don't think the characters will be unlocked by money. You could probably do that by in-game currency, but I think skins and new maps and just DLC in general will be, you know, purchasable, which of course is the exact same thing as Dungeon Defenders 1. So I'm not really angry about it or just disappointed. It's just more along the lines, if Dungeon Defenders was just, I was hoping just a solid $50, and then everything comes in, like as we go, we'll just get updates, like everything would come instead of just having to buy everything separately. I don't know, it's just my point of view, but it's also a fact that some people don't want certain DLCs and other people do want DLCs, so it's so that's all madness. So we won't worry about the the paying aspect, but they have heavily mentioned and pushed it to the ground that Dungeon Defenders 2 will not be pay to win. Definitely it'll be all cosmetic, and for everyone who's still complaining about Dungeon Defenders 2 being pay to win, please shove a big one up your because because countless amount of times the Dungeon Defenders, the trendy team, has said this will not be a pay to win game. So I can't stress it enough, and they can't stress it enough, but it's just very, very annoying that people still think this game is pay to win. But going on to gameplay, they showed this new mechanic called the Eye of the Old One, which is essentially what the gates, the doors were, where the monster spawns were. And during the build phases, we would have these lines that would go around that would show the monster path things, and I think that's really awesome to have, because that's something that Dungeon Defenders 1 really lacked. You didn't really exactly know where the mobs were going sometimes, so you had to guess on where to build and how to build. So that's why I praised a lot of Dungeon Defenders 2 builders who were just ahead of the game, and they made builds for like hundreds and thousands of other people. They literally played the map so many times, they saw the monster pathings and they understood how they moved, and just overall it's just amazing to those people who made the builds first, or discovered, quote unquote, made those, you know, core builds like the Aquanus build or the King's Game map. You know, those maps, the pathings are very strange, and how they made those builds is just very fantastic without the monster guiding lines. So with the addition of these guidelines, it makes this game a lot easier, believe it or not, for newer players, so they know how the monsters come. Another really awesome feature of Dungeon Defenders 2 is now you are no longer static when you're building, repairing, upgrading, and just overall anything interaction. There's no more staticness, which means pretty much you can move freely when you're upgrading, repairing, and just building, which is super badass. I think one of my main issues with Dungeon Defenders is the fact when you're upgrading something, you're just completely vulnerable, or you're building something, or you're repairing something. If you get hit, that entire thing is just canceled. And if you guys follow my Dungeon Defenders quest for the Ultimate Defender series, my I believe one episode, my casting rate is just retarded slow. Upgrading takes forever. And as I'm upgrading, it's like almost 99%, something hits me and it's canceled and I have to start all over. I really, really hated that fact, but maybe it's a niche and people enjoyed that difficulty part, but I personally hated it. So the fact that we're able to move around, fight, and just, you know, dodge enemies while repairing, upgrading, and building really makes the game much more user-friendly. I don't know how to say it, but it's a lot cooler. There's no more staticness, and you can just overall just dodge, kill stuff while building, and it makes you more useful if you're just a builder. And I think this encourages more of hybrid type characters. In previous Dungeon Defenders, as you guys know, there's dedicated tower builders and dedicated DPS heroes, and sometimes people would build hybrids, but the downside of a hybrid was the damage. So you can't have half and half when you're playing Nightmare Hardcore Survival Mixed Mode, which is, you know, totally impossible. There's no such thing as having a hybrid. So the concept of having being able to move around and fight at the same time would encourage, I think it would encourage more hybrid characters, and I'm very curious on what they will do for like those kind of characters. Also in the video, they showed a brand new tower, which was, I believe they called it the Frostbite Tower. It essentially is an ice tower that freezes the enemies, and it doesn't just freeze enemies in like a small like outline ice figure. It like makes a giant glacier around them, and it's just hilarious. So having more CC for other characters, for the entire game of Dungeon Defenders, we only had the Monk and the Huntress for CC. Now with Dungeon Defenders 2, we can see that the Apprentice now has CC, and the Squire has CC, and their characters, the abilities themselves are CC. It's crowd control, giving them more usefulness, as you could say. Pretty much in Dungeon Defenders 1, I think the Apprentice was completely useless once you started going into Nightmare. But with the new Ice Tower, the Frostbite Tower, and the Fire Fiend, I believe it was called, but the new abilities that the Apprentice has really gives him a huge buff, which is really awesome. Not only are there new towers and hero abilities, these two abilities now synergize with each other, meaning, as they showed in the video, I believe it was a Huntress trap, or something, it was like a geyser. It pushes the enemies up, and now you're able to freeze those enemies and they're frozen while they're pushing up. Or there's other towers that shoot anti-air missiles into those mobs while they're flying up. Now the new synergies of all these towers are just, and hero abilities are just amazing. It makes the game completely different. There's so much new varieties of builds you can do. There's so many different styles you can play. There's no more just one single build. There probably will be like the best build, but I'm pretty sure you can beat each and every map in a very different way from other people. And of course, if you're watching the video while watching this, or just watching the video, the Dungeon Defenders 2 playthrough, the art style is now like a 3D or 2D style flipbook comic style, which is I called it pasty or oil painty or like cartoonish, but it looks a lot smoother than what it used to be. When the Dungeon Defenders 2 MOBA videos came out, the gameplay looked it didn't look very smooth, and I was very afraid that Dungeon Defenders 2, the tower defense game, would be leaning towards that direction. It'll use the same art style and mechanics of that MOBA. But when this video gameplay came out, seeing that how they restarted and rebuilt everything from the base up makes Dungeon Defenders 2, it looks like a whole different game. Not just because MOBAs and tower defense games are different, but the art styles were supposed to be similar, and just that little bit of gameplay that we were showing, it really looks like they put a lot of time into reanimating everything, giving more color, and then more designs, more details. And I'm really, really thankful for them for jumping and doing that extra step. And going back to towers, if you guys remember in Dungeon Defenders 1, on the ramparts or other maps such as that, there were gigantic harpoons that were interactable, environmental towers, you could say. In Dungeon Defenders 2, with the video that we just shown, there are loads of different environmental esque traps and towers that you can just click on and use. And just by first impressions, awesome, just awesome. There's a dynamite one, there's a rocket launcher, and just overall it is just madness and looks really amazing. Philip and Brad talk about how Dungeon Defenders 2 is it's a continuation of the story of Dungeon Defenders 1. In Dungeon Defenders 2, our heroes are now grown-ups, so we are pushed into our own adventure just as our parents left on theirs. So from the ComicCon Alpha Builds play thing that they're playing, it was I would assume one of the first maps. We are right in front of the castle, and we are defending the onslaught of the old one and his minions. And now our adventure is the old one has taken over all the lands, and he is now coming for our kingdom. So we are pretty much defending the gates of the castle, which is pretty much what looks like the first map. And instead of defending our Eternia crystals, we are now defending gate locks, which is pretty awesome. Brings a whole new twist to the game. And not only is there just one main gate lock, there are many, as Brad called it, sub-objectives. Those are destroyed, then more monster lanes appear, and it makes you think more on spot instead of just like a timed thinking process. You have to build just random towers in the middle of nowhere sometimes just to defend these new lanes that appear. And with that addition to the game, I think it makes the entire, like, the environment is ever-changing concept really awesome. And I think that Dungeon Defenders 2, this literally is a great sequel just by that. It looks amazing, and overall I think they're pushing it in a great direction. They also mentioned about loot, a little bit about it. I think Phil mentioned how there are new weapons with elemental attributes style kind of stuff, like how some items might have the ice ability or smash or attributes or whatever they're called. And so it's like pretty much you can destroy and shatter monsters, or you can just smack them. And then these weapons really change how you should build your build. Instead of massing harpoons, you can do mass frostbite towers and have like a smash style weapon, and you just destroy and shatter all those monsters in seconds, which makes the game more enjoyable, more fun, giving you more replayability, more different build styles, and just overall there's the replayability factor that they're putting into this game already, and just the beginning core factors of the game is just enormous. And I cannot wait to see how you guys, the player, create new builds around certain weapons and certain build types and certain characters. And speaking of characters, there are no longer 24 characters. The 24 characters was primarily for the MOBA, and seems they completely scrapped that. They said that they will have characters, new characters and more characters. However, it will not be the number 24, and these new characters won't be as many. But also these characters that they release will be more robust. They'll have a lot of thought put into, and then they really want to focus on how the characters synergize with other characters and synergize with other towers. And just that fact alone, I'm really happy that there's no more I wanted to call them clutter, just not to be mean, but if the concept of a tower defense game and having 24 different characters with 24 different types of towers, it really doesn't make it really makes the game feel a little bit too big. I'm not trying to say that it's a bad thing, but it makes the game too complicated. And having those many characters, there's definitely going to be, like, let's say the Summer and the Series EV of Dungeon Defenders 1 was a must-have for Nightmare and Hardcore. And if Dungeon Defenders 2 comes along, there will be 2 characters that will be must-have, and maybe 18 of those characters will be never used. So I'm really glad that they're pushing away from having a crap ton of characters, and they're minimizing it to a small group of characters that are robust, you know, just really detailed and put a lot of thought into it, and making those characters really impactful instead of having let's say the Initiate. Who uses the Initiate? So yeah, I mentioned before in my first video, my first vlog, that the towers now have a rewarding tower upgrading system, where a tower first, when you make it, it looks okay, it looks pretty badass, whatever. You upgrade it once, goddamn, it looks even better. You upgrade it again, and what the F, it's like this monster awesome ice tower of death. As you see in the video, later in the video, they talk about the upgrading of towers. They make it look super, how I think they said sinister and very scary looking, making it more rewarding and more fun to upgrade your towers. When I first saw the video, it was just plain, and then he upgraded it and like, wow, that's pretty scary. And then when it upgraded, there's ice blocks just floating around it. I'm just like, holy shitty titties, I'm so excited. So that's pretty much what I got from the video. There's a lot more notes that I have, but now reading it over and over, I'm realizing some of the stuff is redundant. So all in all, I think this first initial video was pretty badass, and I'm really excited for it, giving us more variety, more replayability, towers and player synergizing with each other, which is really cool. Environmental objects, towers and such blah. Having crowd control abilities with every single character, not just the huntress and the monk, making all characters usable, more friendly. Friendly is not the word, more useful. Having these abilities makes group play more significant. And Dungeon Defenders 1, there was not much group play. Sure, there's you build this and you build that, but after that, DPS is everyone was on barbarians or everyone was on jesters, and that really was just like, okay, one jester will be doing the Wheel of Fortuna constantly healing us, or one character would be just straight up tank. You know, there's not really much teamwork involved. It's just go in, kill as fast as you can, and we're done. With this, all the new CC abilities and all of the new, like, the synergisms, it makes the game a lot more, you know, group interactive, which is obviously really awesome. And of course, for Dungeon Defenders 2, my playthrough, I'm definitely going to do it solo first time around, and then second time around, I'll definitely invite you guys to join me. Again, this is alpha, guys. This video is, again, how they said, this is just a fixed version of Dungeon Defenders. It is not, they talked about how the development build is, like, impossible. Like, they have development plays, they play every Friday, and then I think Philip said that they've never even beaten the map yet. So for the ComicCon version, they had to dumb it down significantly. So even in the video, as of course they were talking about it and constantly talking about it, so they failed a lot. But just the idea of having, if that is the dumbed down version and they're struggling that much, I'm so scared to see how the development version is, because it's just but yes, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. More Dungeon Defenders 2 videos will be coming out. I'll be talking about the teaser trailer next, and then with the teaser trailer, I'll be talking about all the pictures that Dungeon Defenders 2, the Trendy team, has been posting on their websites, and then we'll be talking about the little details. Of course, we're gonna nitpick at everything because that's who we are. But in those coming episodes, we're gonna be theorizing and just theory crafting about what Dungeon Defenders 2 will become, or what it's turning into, and how, like, what kind of new stuff there is, and just overall all that nonsense madness. I'm still getting used to vlogging. I do apologize for the nervousness, the hair flips. I flip my hair a lot, so I do apologize. I apologize for all the jump cuts. Someone complained about there's too many jump cuts. If you guys don't know, sometimes the video is focusing in and out. If I don't have autofocus on, it looks just horrendous, the video. So I kind of need autofocus on, and whenever autofocus happens, I cut it out. Because believe it or not, happens a lot. Other than that, thank you for, you know, the warm welcome, guys. I am back. I'll try to make as many videos as I can. Dungeon Defenders 1 videos will come on Wednesday when my new hard drive comes in. Till then, we're gonna be theory crafting, theorizing, just all the, you know, foreshadowing or guessing or whatever you want to call it for Dungeon Defenders 2. We're gonna be just talking about that a lot throughout the week. These vlogs will be about that. The next video will not have my face, so I'm sorry. It'll be the teaser trailer. I'm not gonna do my previous video of Dungeon Defenders where I started screaming. A lot of people said don't do that, but if you guys want me to do that, please do tell me in the comments below. But a lot of people said don't do that because it hurt their ears. Boo-hoo. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that kind of stuff, and then I'll be talking about the pictures like I said before, and then we're just gonna be overall just doing all that kind of stuff. Dungeon Defenders news. Humble Bundle is putting the entire DLC Dungeon Defenders on sale right now, 75% off. So it's a $50 game, $55 game, and it is 75% off. So it's like 12 bucks. So if you don't have Dungeon Defenders, get it now because it's $12. I would do giveaways, but I am broke. I have no money. Hard drives are very expensive. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. Again, I apologize for the nervousness, the awkwardness of the video, because long face. I'm still getting used to how my face is half the screen because my face is so fucking long. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy these vlogs. I'm super sorry that they're super long. They're like 30 minutes each. I'll try to, for my vlogs and stuff, I'll try to dumb it down to like at least 10 minutes around there. And then for the Dungeon Defenders 2 theory videos, I'll be 30 minutes or whatever, how long. So if you guys want to skip around in the video, feel free. But If you watch the entire thing, thank you, sir. You are a good friend. I love you. Thank you, ma'am, as well. Apparently I have a lot of female fans. Yeah! But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. If you have any questions, concerns about what I missed in the video or the Comic-Con video, or if you have any questions about Dungeon Defenders 2, I'll try to answer anything I can within my knowledge. I've been out of the Dungeon Defenders loop, so I'm back on the forums. I'm reading a lot of stuff. And yes, that's all I can think about. Thank you for watching, guys. It's oNightPineberries. Peace!